Hello everyone, I'm Jacob Terry and I'm an OGL 320. This is my baseline survey. So I can start off talking about unique combination of experience and talents. I joined the military in 2004 when I was 20. I started as a power production apprentice, which meant I worked on standby generators, diesel generators that powered buildings in the event of power outages or prime power in deployed locations, such as power plants. And after doing that for about 5 years, I retrained into the paralegal career field, which I have now done for 15 years. As a paralegal, I have worked on mostly prosecution cases for the Air Force. And those cases include anything, they're just like any other cases you'd find in the civilian world. Military is an all-volunteer force, so you get some good with the bad. All the crimes you see in the civilian world, you'll see in the military as well. I've also had the unique experience of working in aircraft investigation boards. I've worked a couple fatality investigations where aircraft and pilots have crashed and been killed, and also some ground accidents that involved airmen working on aircraft where there's some unfortunate events that led to fatalities as well. And so besides that professional experience, I also have a bachelor's degree in legal studies and a few associate's degrees that I've obtained over the years. Some dislikes I have: I dislike vague instructions. I'm very much a rule follower. I like the rules. I like to be able to know what is expected and have a clear set of instructions of what's expected of me. It helps to generate checklists and to-do lists and to know exactly what needs to be done. I understand as a project manager, sometimes you need to make those rules and set those standards so you can move through the project. That's a dislike. Some likes I like to do: I like to be able to finishing a job. I've always had trouble working jobs where it's kind of the same routine stuff every day. I very much appreciate having a project, a set goal from start to finish, and be able to see that through from start to finish. The same thing that happens if you're prosecuting a case. The individual is arrested or accused of a crime, and there's certain steps that lead up to the eventual court, which leads to either an acquittal or conviction, depending on circumstances. But you get to see it from the start of the investigation to the end, the acquittal or the confinement or the punishment, whatever the outcome may be. Same thing like an aircraft investigation board, where there's by statute, by law, there's a certain amount of time you have to be able to investigate the aircraft accident and generate a report that is delivered to the next of kin and to the Air Force, so the Air Force can take appropriate actions to try to prevent future accidents. And that, again, is it's a project where you can see the start. There was an accident. There's specific steps you get to, and you have about 30 days to 60 days. And then there's some leniency there if more time is required, depending on the complexity of the accident and in the investigation. But there's a set time, so you can see it from the beginning to the end, to the final report. And that report is delivered to the Air Force, delivered to Congress, and they may take the appropriate actions as need be. That kind of goes into my existing competencies and experiences as a program manager. I've worked on 3 different aircraft investigations, countless court-martials or prosecution cases for the Air Force, and another certificate project. I currently work for the Environmental Law Field Support Center here in San Antonio, Texas, where we work on all kinds of environmental issues for the Air Force, which includes anytime you want to move an aircraft, anytime you want to build a building, demolish a building, do any type of construction for an Air Force base. You have to go through very specific steps in completing that task. And we have experts attorneys that throughout the Air Force that operate throughout the United States and overseas. And once a year, we bring all these attorneys to the San Antonio area to discuss hot topics and new issues developing law and circumstances within the environmental law field, NEPA, CERCLA, these different types of laws that affect the way we do things. So every year we have a workshop at our base that requires, it was a 3-day workshop. We had to fly in about 60 individuals, not including some of the speakers. So this was a big project for me. As assistant, there was a main project manager, but then there was also, then I was assistant to this project manager, but we kind of ran different parts of this big project, broke it down to smaller project portions, and I ran with some of those as the head project manager for those particular portions. This included finding a venue downtown. We had some other venues before that didn't really work out so great. On base, funding was an issue. Funding, venue, audiovisual, transportation, getting everyone here at the same time. We had to make all those arrangements. And so that was a significant project where I had a role as a project manager for many portions of that project. And during that project, there was a lot of contingencies in managing risks. Some of these, we ended up having it at a hotel downtown, and it worked out very well, and the hotel was very generous and worked with us very nice, but we started out without a budget. We just were told to go out and see what we can get. No budget set. Didn't mean we had an endless budget. It meant there ended up being a very small budget, but we're not told that up front. So once we found a listing of potential venues, we were given the budget after that fact, which ended up eliminating more than half of those venues, and then some of them came down to meet our budget to try to, in order for us to be able to use our facilities. And some of the risks were, talking to some of those hotels, trying to make arrangements with them, plans with them when we didn't have a budget, and we weren't even sure we were going to be guaranteed funding at all for the event, which it's hard to work with companies. You want to have a event in their location, but you don't have a budget, and you can't tell them what you can afford or what you really expect to have, because you don't know. So that was kind of tough to get started with. So defining the role and responsibilities for this course, and in this course I am the project manager. I'm in charge of the outcome, my success or failure of this course, hopefully the success. How is it different? I think it's more similar, different in that this course, success in this course relies solely on me. Other projects in the past, even if I was a project manager, there was usually someone else I could lean on or gain assistance from for particular tasks. So when you're accomplishing school, it's a little different in that it's all on you, except for the fact that you can lean on other people, other students, the TAs, the faculty, the staff, the professor, if you end up getting stuck and do need help. So again, I'm in charge of this class as far as my success, and I'm responsible for the outcome of the success or the failure of this class. What do I want out of the experience for this course? What I'd like to gain, even though through the text and the professor stating that we are all project managers, because in our life we've all managed certain projects. Many of those projects I've mainly just stumbled through, and I've planned for the next step in certain cases, but not always. And so for this class, I'd like to get a better understanding of more of a step-by-step how to organize, how to have a little more forethought into the next step, and plan, and that way you can go through a project with a little less, I guess, a little fewer bumps in the road, I suppose. So describing some previous experiences of what I've do or do not want to do. Again, kind of back to my likes. I don't like vague instructions or vague expectations. So there's been circumstances where some of these things, so for the aircraft investigations, typically you have to complete a week-long class before you are appointed to one of these investigation boards, and I never attended that class. It just kind of happenstance that they needed someone, and I was able to fill that role. So it was a very short learning on the curve, reading through all the instructions, the rules about what had to be done during an investigation and what the final product should look like. So I think it's best if you can always have the training before you step into a role. If you do not have the training, at least be able to know where you can find the references or the support materials you need in order to be successful for that project. Best and worst case scenarios. For any project, I like to be able to stay ahead of task. I don't like to be having to play catch up. Playing catch up is one of the most frustrating things you can experience, because it seems like once you fall behind, whether it's school, this class, other classes, or work projects, once you slip behind a little bit, it seems like you're always playing catch up. And when you're always playing catch up, you're not in charge. You're not setting the pace. You're running after somebody or something, trying to stay ahead of the game, and that's just not a comfortable place to be in. So with this class, I'm taking another class, 2 classes, and I work full-time, and I have other obligations besides that, which ends up being many long nights, some early mornings. So you have to really prioritize what's important, what needs to be done sooner than later, and what you need to spend more time on to enable you to generate a quality product. What do I plan to invest to accomplish your goals for this course? Mainly is time. Time is is a valuable commodity, and of course we all want more of it. You can't make more of it. You can make more of it to a certain extent by analyzing your schedule, kind of cutting out the fat, what doesn't need to be done, what does need to be done, and not wasting it. Do I really need to come home from work and watch an hour of TV? Sure, it's nice to unwind, but the hour of TV versus an hour of reading might mean I go to bed an hour earlier and I wake up feeling that much better. So you got to prioritize your time. In school, I mean, I do enjoy it. It is tough and it can be exhausting, but I think in the long run, there'll be a payoff, I hope. And with most things, you see it everywhere, and you see it in many classes, but the SMART goals, the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I find if you apply that to most anything, whether it's a daily task, it kind of helps you break down the task into an achievable goal, and that's kind of I'm trying. So, for example, SMART goals could be used for this class or for this degree program. Is it specific? Yes, I have a specific goal. I want to complete the Bachelor of Arts in Organizational Management with a minor, in Project Management and the minor in Geographic Information Science. Is it measurable? Yes. I need a specific amount of credits to finish. And is it achievable? Yes. I've completed a few associates and a bachelor's in the past, so I know it's achievable. I know I can finance it. I know I can dedicate the time to complete it, so it's achievable. Is it realistic? yes, that kind of goes back to achievable and time bound. So I have a goal set for myself of how long it should take me to complete this degree. I know it could potentially take longer depending on circumstances and work and other obligations that might arise, other contingencies that may occur. But otherwise, it is time bound. I do have a specific goal, year and month in mind as far as completing my goal. And it kind of lines up with my retirement from the Air Force after 20 years, trying to change my career field out of the legal profession and into project management or hopefully some sort of urban planning or development. And that's it. Thank you.